Chlorates is one of the major food safety issues that we have to manage around. That's why chlorine detergents were discontinued a number of years ago, and also why we have to have a focus on what teat disinfectants you're using. It's particularly important for infant formula and butter that we don't have any chlorine residues, whether that's chlorates or trichloromethane, TCMs. Another piece around chlorates and residues is to make sure you're using the right teat disinfectant. Don't use anything with chlorine dioxide or chloride in it. Those will actually lead to chlorates in your milk, and that'll cause a food safety issue. So one of the key areas to focus on for the start of the season is which detergent are you going to use for this season. Have a look back and see how your milk quality was for last year. Did the regime you have work? Did you need any tweaking with it? Do you need to look at your hot water and your wash trough capacity? Start off with new detergent. That'll make sure that you've got no residues carrying over from any old bits of detergent left over at the back end of the year. What we're finding is a lot of people switching now to using peracetic acid in the final rinse, and that's making a difference for people as well. So just plan ahead with your detergents at the start of the season. One of the key pieces to make sure that you've got sorted before you're coming back is make sure your herd cert is in for the year before your first collection. Ideally for all cows, you'd keep out your first 8 milkings. And there's a number of benefits of this on farm. That's the best milk that you can possibly give your calves, because some of it's very early colostrum and the rest of it's what we call transition milk. It's full of immunoglobulins, and that's great for calves. So for feeding calves in that early few days, they'll get a great start when you're using milk like that. So keep out your first 8 milkings of each cow, and you'll find that you'll have a smooth start to the season. Hot water is key for a really good dairy washing regime. Make sure at the start of the season you think about this. Have you got enough capacity? Your starting temperature needs to be about 80 degrees to get a really good hot wash, and it's always really important to check what the dump temperature is. It should be about 55 degrees. At the start of the season, talked a little bit about a deep clean. What that really means is doing a really good hot wash regime beforehand and rotating your acid washes and your detergent washes, and probably followed up by peracetic acid. But also have a look at your parlour, the tricky bits of your parlour. This is the time to tackle them. Anywhere that you know that you've had a build up through the year. Vacuum lines, make sure you're starting off your season with a clean vacuum line. The key thing is to actually just make sure you've talked to your serviceman and booked it in well in advance, so that he's got time to plan and get to you, because this is their busy season as well. Your bulk tank, ideally have that checked out, make sure that that's working before you're back putting milk into it, and if there's anything that has to be updated, or the detergent tubes, if you've got an auto washer, make sure that your detergent tubes aren't blocked. And sometimes through the back end of the year when we've cold weather, the tubes can get hard, and that can make the detergent hard to suck up. Another area to make sure that you've done a really good clean on before the start of the season is the dump line. You'll be using your dump line a lot at the start of the season because you've got cows returning back into milking, and sometimes then if that's not washed properly, that's where we can see antibiotics coming through in the milk. So just be very careful of that and conscious of that through the season. So just checking all those little things before the start of the season is a really good thing to do.